So I'm going to teach you about bikes, alright?
Cool.
Alright. Obviously you know the handlebars. And this is your dashboard. You know, you got your RPM. You hit it before it goes into red line. It's a temperature gauge, and that's your miles per hour. Your trip odometer, and you know, your total miles on the engine. Neutral light, turn signals, which I don't have right now, so those aren't going to matter, and your high beams. On this side, this is your throttle. You pull back to make it go. This is your kill switch. To either side is off, and it won't turn on. So you have to have it right up the middle for it to start. And that's your start button, electric start. Up here is your brake reservoir for your front brakes. That holds the fluid for the brakes up front, because this is your front brake right here. On this side, these are your high beams and low beams, your turn signals, and the horn. This down here is the choke. That's to help with cold starts. Right now, because the bike was just running, we won't need to use it. But what the choke does is make the fuel richer, so it's easier for the bike to run on it. So the reason that you don't want to keep the choke on all the time is because it'll overheat the engine. It'll boost the RPMs. So as the bike is warming up, you'll see me keep adjusting it down, so I keep it right between 1 and 2. This is the clutch to change gears, but also to start. So we'll be slipping the clutch and everything today, and you'll feel kind of where the friction zone is. That's where it just initially starts to catch the engine to make it start moving. This is a dead handle. This is just for holding on to. One of the only things that you don't have to work on the bike. So down here, this is attached to the fuel tank. This is actually called the petcock. So straight down is fuel on. I never have the fuel off, but fuel off is all the way over. I'd put that on if the bike was in storage for a long period of time. And forward is the reserve tank, and there's about just under a gallon in the reserve tank. So that gives you enough time to get to a gas station. This is the foot peg that you're going to be putting your left foot on. It doesn't do anything, just for a rest. This is the gear shifter. So the pattern is 1 push down, you just heard it click in, that's first gear. A half click up is neutral, but a full click up, you probably won't do it right now because the bike's not moving, but a full click up is second gear, and then third, fourth, fifth, and then you shift down to make it go down gears. But yeah, a half click is neutral. Passenger pegs. On this side, this is another foot peg, and this is your rear brake. So you're going to push down on this. This is your rear brake reservoir, and it works your rear brakes. Usually when you brake, you want to try and get used to using both brakes at the same time, because too much rear brake can lock the rear wheel up, and that can be really bad. And too much front brake, specifically on sport bikes, this bike won't do it, but specifically on sport bikes, they will sometimes loop over the front if they grab that front brake too hard. So the way that you get on the bike is from the left side. This bike is a little tall for me, so I like to put a foot up on the foot peg and swing over like I'm on a horse. And then you put the bike up. So from here, if you turn the key on, you can't really see it, but the neutral light is on. So that means that the bike's not in gear at all. Obviously you know what neutral means. And from here, I can start the bike even with the kickstand down. It's part of the safety switches. So you see it turns over. If it's in first gear, nothing will happen if you try and hit it, because it has the safety switch where you have to have the clutch pulled in for it to start. But if you try and go with the kickstand down, so the kickstand's down, it'll die, because there's another safety switch associated with that. And for obvious reasons, you don't want to ride off with your kickstand down. And what I want you to do is start her up, okay?
How do you do it?
You just hit that start button. And from here, you can twist the throttle and see how sensitive it is. And then when we're ready, I'm going to have you pull in that clutch, hold the front brake, okay? So you're holding both of the levers, and you're going to push your foot down one time. And you can let go of the front brake because it's not going to go anywhere. But all I want you to do, you're not going to twist the throttle at all. You're just going to slowly let out that clutch until you feel it start catching like that, okay? So you see how slow I'm letting that out? And you don't have to worry about, as long as you don't touch the gas, even if you let the clutch out really fast, the bike will die, okay?
Okay.
So you don't have to worry about it taking off on you as long as you don't hit the gas. There you go, and put both feet on the ground and pick her up. Alright, you can feel the weight of the bike. You should be able to flat foot it pretty good, or at least get your toes, both toes down. Alright, put your kickstand up. Alright, kind of rock back and forth, feel the weight of the bike a little bit. No, side to side. Okay, so now what I want you to do is hit that start button. It's in neutral, so you don't have to worry about it. Yep. Twist the throttle a little bit. You see, it can be kind of sensitive when you don't have any load on the engine. So now what I want you to do is pull in the clutch all the way. Push down one. Okay, put your foot back down. You want to keep both feet on the ground right now, because that'll help stabilize the bike. So what I want you to do is just barely let it out until you feel it start catching a little bit, and then just pull it back in, okay? And that's what I mean by rock back and forth with it. So just barely feel that friction zone and then bring it back. There you go. So that's going to take getting used to. You're probably going to stall the bike a couple times, okay? Alright, the next thing that I'm going to have you do, and they'll have you do all of this as the BRC when you do it, okay? And all you're going to do without hitting the gas, remember you can keep your fingers on that front brake to grab it if it starts taking off too much on you, okay? You're going to keep your feet, both feet down on the ground, and you're just going to walk the bike. That means you're just going to slowly let go of it and just kind of walk with it, okay? And you can, right now I'm squeezing that front brake too so it doesn't go too fast. And if you need to, remember you can just pull that in and the bike will stop. So mount up. Both feet down, push it up, get that kickstand up. Alright, so now what you're going to do is turn the key on. And it's in neutral, so you don't have to, but that's a good habit. And push it on. Alright, click it into first. Okay, now both feet down, hands on both levers, just slowly let it out until you start walking, and just walk with the bike. Nice and slow, there you go. Just try and keep it straight. Alright, pull both levers gently. Just click it into neutral. So, look for that green light, put it underneath, and just pull halfway up until it clicks. Is that light on? Yeah, you're in neutral. Alright, so put the kickstand down and dismount. Okay, so I'm going to have you move it back, and what we're going to do, I'm going to have you walk down this line, okay? Because this is a little bit more even. When I'm moving it, I like to grab onto the back here because this is a good grab point. You want it to keep leaning against you, because if it starts leaning too far the other way, it's hard to grab it back, right? And you can just, if it's in neutral, you can just push it around however. So I want you to just push it back to about the middle right there, okay? Remember, if you get too scared if it starts moving too fast, just grab both levers and it'll stop. Keep both feet down. Alright, turn it on. Grab the clutch. Pop it into first. Alright, and start walking with it. Just nice and gently. Remember, try and keep it nice and straight. Keep both feet down. All right, bring it to a stop. Okay. So what we're going to try next, and go a little faster with it so you're not walking it anymore, but still keep your feet down just in case you have to grab it, okay? If it starts going down, don't worry about it. Just try and make it land on one of the handlebars, okay? Don't be scared of it, okay?
I'm not.
Alright. You're just gonna, without gassing it, just slowly let the clutch out. Alright, without gas, slowly let off of it. And to get to the point where you don't have to necessarily touch the ground all the time, okay? Just keep your legs down, ready to catch. Remember, the faster you go, the better it'll be because it'll hold itself up. You've seen motorcycles take off without a rider on it, and it can stay up and ride. Let the bike do it. There you go. So I want you to try sitting on it still right now. I'm going to turn it off so it doesn't kill the battery. You're still in first, so pull the clutch in. And I just want you, without using the power of the bike, just try and walk it forward and line back up again, okay?
Like on it?
Yeah, sit on it. Just walk it. Kind of rough, right?
Yeah.
Because you got to remember, when you're stopping, you got to hold the clutch in too. So I'm going to have you, you're gonna walk it forward, and then you're going to stop it.
You did that with the brake?
Huh?
You did that with the brake?
Yeah, just grab both in, okay? Both levers.
At the same time?
Yep, at the same time, because you got to have the clutch in or it'll stall, okay?
Okay.
And then just let it go again, get going, and stop. Remember, you got to hold the clutch. So it always got to be held. Brake. Just do that a couple times.
Okay.
Yeah, it's always to drop it after you stall it.
What did I do?
You let out the clutch too fast, or you braked without pulling the clutch in. I think you didn't pull the clutch in when you broke, okay?
Okay.
So just make sure both levers in every time you brake.
Okay.
So hit that start button again. Clutch in. Alright. Gently let out, grab both. Just keep it straight. Alright, brake. Yeah, and you're doing good. Just remember, try and keep the bike upright.
I'm sorry. I'm not sure what I'm doing.
It's okay. You're just letting the clutch out a little too fast, okay?
Okay, slowly.
Yep. Just nice and slowly. Remember, because if you don't use any gas, it'll stall really easily. So you're just gently letting it out. Turn it off. Key. You can use the key, the kill switch. So how was that?
Fun.
Okay. I don't necessarily want you doing turns and stuff yet because that's a lot harder to do, and this bike is really tall. So it'll probably be easier to learn on something that's a little lighter and smaller, like at the BRC, okay? But at least now you know how to get a bike moving.
Yeah.
So I'll explain to you more of what I'm doing when we get back on the bike. You're doing good, kid. As long as you keep the momentum of the bike moving, leaning it over doesn't matter. If you stop it while the bike is leaned over, that's where you get trouble. Alright, so I'm letting go of the clutch. Using some gas. Alright, I'm pulling the clutch in and I'm pulling my foot straight up. Yeah, now we're in second. So I pull the clutch in and I pull up with my foot again, and now we're in third. And if I'm stopping, I'm going to pull the clutch in and shift down into first. And when you shift, you want to make sure that you let off the gas. Because if you don't, okay, so right now I'm going to pull the clutch in like I'm about to shift without letting off the gas, okay? See how it revs the bike up? So you can't really use your weight to steer the bike because it doesn't really do as much, okay? Yeah, but if I try and turn like I want to go in that direction, the bike follows that way. That's why it's called counter steering. If I want to turn that way, I gotta push the handlebar forward. It's a hard concept until you actually ride it yourself. Right, so right now I'm just keeping the bike straight. If I push with this hand, it makes the bike go that way. If I push with this hand, the bike is going that way, okay? Because it throws off the gyroscope of the bike and it makes it fall in the opposite direction that you push it. It doesn't make any sense until you actually get on a bike.